Welcome to Subramani. I'm going to talk to you about some shares which I bought in March, April 2020 with the reason as to why I bought them. So let me go. I'm not sure whether I'm going alphabetically, but the first share to talk about is Asahi India Glass. I was looking at this share when the price was around, I think, 250. About 250 in February 2020, and I thought it was a good buy at 175. Typically what happens is when you pick up a share, you think, oh, this is too high, let me wait for some time. There was no logic why I thought it should come down. I thought, okay, auto components might come down. There was no logic or reason. And I was waiting for about 180, and thanks to the Chinese COVID, I got it at 150. The question is, I said, is it worth buying? Will people buy cars? But again, I went back to my original stuff saying, okay, we will come over. So at 150, the margin of safety was very high. I did not expect to get it at 150. I thought maybe 190 I would compromise and buy, and but 150 was too attractive, so I bought at 150, 180, 200. Right. Then my valuation number also changed. I was now willing to pay 210, and the price was 210, so I bought more. And then the share price started going up, and luckily for me, which I would think it is just luck, the recovery was very fast. Otherwise, it would have tested my patience. Imagine 150 to 210 when I was convinced that it is worth 210, and I bought. And it goes to 230, and then it comes back to 180 or 170. Then this is when you're tested. You're saying, oh, what is happening? I said this will happen, so this has happened. Now why is it falling? Because then you're worried, is it bad management? Is it some problem in the auto industry? Is the yen getting stronger? Whatever. Russia is a Japanese company. But luckily for me, then the move started, and it started going up, and now at around 300 my valuation was, every indicator was saying this is a very hot sell because the auto industry is not going to do well, blah blah blah, so this is the time to be getting rid of it. But I resisted the temptation. I had bought enough quantity, so which meant I could sell a part of it. So I would sell a part of it, price fell 20-30 rupees, I would buy back. So let's say I had 5,000 shares, so I would sell 500 shares, then the price came down, I would buy it back. I sold, price didn't come down, I would just let it go. But then afterwards, when it came down, I would buy, because by that time my valuation for that share was around 400 and the price was around 360, 370. So I was very comfortable holding it at that price. So at that price I wouldn't want to sell, but if when my valuation was say 400, I would happily sell at 420 or 430, saying, okay, it's okay if I lose it. I don't need to own it. So I would sell it, and then it came down to 400, I would buy it. Right, so it gave me a lot of fluctuation, and which gave me a lot of opportunity to buy and sell. So at every price, 500,000 shares, I would buy, sell, buy, would sell, and so my cost of holding kept coming down dramatically. And then even recently I sold at 640 because I bought it at 570 or something like that. So if you're making 60-70 bucks on the trading portion, I would never sell all the shares of Asahi Glass, and because my target price for that is much higher. Even at 630, I would rather be a buyer than a seller. So that is the reason why I bought Asahi Glass. So very clearly, I'll give you some more examples. One was Eid Parry. I got it at 130 or something, 125 or 130. Again, March 2020, because in January, February, I had sold because I thought sugar was overpriced. So I thought it is not a good buy. Thanks to the pandemic, the price fell down, and I bought it at 125. And I bought a lot of shares because I had sold a lot of shares. And then as luck would have it, I sold, I think, 30% or something at around 375 or 350, 360. I sold off, saying this is all-time high for Eid Parry. It cannot go higher. Sugar is overpriced, fully priced. But I always liked that share because it was a holding company of Coromandel International. So I said, let me just hold on. So I held on. And then the game changed, because it is a manufacturer of ethanol, and ethanol made the share worth buying even at that price. So I bought back some of the shares. I sold maybe even at a loss. I'm not very sure whether I made too much of a loss. Let's say I sold it at 375. I bought it back at 400, right? So because the ethanol story came up. It was earlier a sugar story. It was a holding company story. When the ethanol story really hit big time, I started looking at companies like Bannari Aman Sugar, and I said, okay, Eid Parry can't be too bad. Not a great company. Not very profitable in sugar, but ethanol is very different. So I bought, and then even today I don't know whether to sell or hold on. Right, I'll give you one more example before I tell you why I am giving you these examples. The third example is Sun Pharma. Sun Pharma was doing very badly, and I thought, let me look at my price, my purchase price. So I had in April 2018, I had bought it at 600 and odd, 660, 665, because it had come off from 1200. Yes, it was having problems in the US, but I thought 650 for Sun Pharma cannot be too bad. After all, I'd seen it at 1200, and in my mind, the valuation of about 600 was okay for Sun Pharma. But the problem is you cannot always wait for the perfect price. Here was a good solid company. I liked the management, I liked some of their products, and I knew that they were doing well in the US. Very disciplined company, very good cost control. So I said, this can't be too bad at 665. Then I had the mortification of watching it go down. So how much did it go down? Well, it went down from there to 400, right? So a share which I thought was a good buy at 600, I bought it at 665 thinking, oh, it can't be too bad, 10% overvaluation for a large index stock, pharma leader, can't be too bad. It went down to 400. I panicked. I didn't know what to do. I would sell, buy, I would do a lot of things. I was not losing too much money. I lost the capital, of course. 265 rupees is not a small loss. And I had no clue now what to do. I said, okay, I would do something, and then again the virus stuck. I got it at about at 400. I was wondering whether I should be averaging, because if I thought the valuation was good at 600, then what was so bad at 400? I could not convince myself that this share was worth selling at 400. So I didn't sell at 400. Then Mr. COVID came, and the price fell down to, hold your breath, 335. And luckily for me, I bought some at 370 or 350. Then when it went to 340, I was just hoping that things don't go too wrong. But I bought and I waited. I said, this is a COVID price. I had no clue that the pharma industry is going to do well, because we didn't know who is going to find the vaccine, or whether the solution is a vaccine or something else. Nothing was known at that stage, but I bought because I had conviction that this is a good company, and a good company you buy when it is out of favor. That's the very basis of value investing. Then I watched it go up. Then I traded, because when you buy something at 330, at 700 or 600, you know that it's attractive to sell. So I sold, then I bought back. I sold, then I bought at a higher price, and I kept on buying, and I knew there'd be some resistance at 1000, so I kept buying at 890, 880. I kept buying. That was the price when it would go to 800, come down to 700 then. So it gave me a lot of trading opportunities also. Again, as usual, 10% of my portfolio I would trade in good companies. So why am I telling you all this? Just because to tell you that there has to be a process for buying shares, right? So you arrive at a value, and then you say, okay, I will buy only if I get it at this price. What happens is, in this, you miss some of the stars of a rising industry. I would have completely missed out Facebook, Google, etc., simply because I wouldn't have the guts to buy it and wait when it crashes. I mean, imagine buying something at 100 rupees and then it crashes to 13 rupees, which means then there is an 87% fall. All my rules, and I would have got out at 75 rupees. If I bought it at 100, I would have got out at 75 rupees. If it's my own business, I have no choice but to continue to run it. But as an outside investor, you don't know what is going wrong. So if I had bought Facebook at 100 rupees and it went down to 13 rupees, I would have been out at 75. right? If it was a trading position, I would have been out at 90. If it was a investment position, I would have been out at 75. Because at 75, I tell myself there is something in that share which you can't see, which the market knows. So when it gets that scary, you have to get out. When maybe it will turn back from 75, go back to 110. That's a different thing. But if you don't have these rules, chances are that you will make bigger mistakes. So one of the biggest learnings I have, and I have used it very effectively, is take losses very quickly. So when 100 goes to 75, I'm out, right? So similarly, I've made many mistakes and recovered just because I just said, okay, I have two limits. I have a time limit and I have a price limit. So if I bought a share at 100 rupees and I think the fair value for that is about 105 or 120 or whatever, and then it does not go up and it actually goes down, let us say it goes down to 80, it is not touching my target of 75, which means my stop loss of 75. So I would wait. But if for 6 months it doesn't move anywhere and not collected any dividend, and I don't see anything happening in that industry or in that company, I would sell out. Not because it went to 75, but at 80, maybe there is something else better to buy. So normally when I do a sell, it is to buy something else. I have never removed money for consumption. So either I found something better or I find that this is going nowhere, so let me sell. I've had stories where I have sold and then the price has gone up. So these things happen, but these things don't worry me because I just know that I have a process by which I buy, and I have had regrets of saying, oh, I wish I had bought more. Or when I get a share like Patanjali, I was told Patanjali is a good buy at 900, but I could not convince myself. Then I bought at 1230 or 1240, but then it went up very quickly to 1390 or 1400 or maybe even more than that. So I thought this is a great time to sell. So I sold, I bought, I sold, I bought. I'm not very convinced about the valuation even now. But I know that it's a good share to trade. So as of now, I still have a position and around this price. So now I'll talk about my process, right? Thank you. I'll make it into a separate video. Thank you.